Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Joelle Simone Anthony. I'm also known as the Grave Woman. If this is your first time here, hit the subscription button as well as the notifications bell so that you can be updated anytime I upload new content. Today we are talking about 5 tips that every funeral professional needs to know to care for themselves during these hot summer months. And even if you're not a death care professional, that's okay. These tips will work just fine for you as well. So, 5 summertime tips for death care professionals and just professionals in general, not even if you work in death care. It's important that we all take care of ourselves, especially during the summertime. But the first tip I have for you is to stay hydrated. The summer is like really, really hot. I'm here in Georgia, and if you're here in the South, and maybe even on the West Coast, because I know that you guys are going through an extreme heat wave over there, it's important that you stay hydrated. Water and just making sure that our bodies are hydrated is one of the most important things that we can do on a daily basis. More important on a summer day. I mean, it's not even 80 degrees outside, or maybe it's a little bit over 80 degrees outside here in Georgia right now. It's not even 10 o'clock in the morning, and I am literally sweating here making this video. I was online the other day, and the MBE review coach responded in her comments saying this: hydration is so important for healthy organ function, especially our largest organ system, our skin. The summer temperatures only exacerbate the importance of adequate hydration. We often neglect this element during our workday because of access to semi-clean restrooms. So in this case, she's talking about maybe a long cemetery drive or having to take off all of our PPE in the embalming room to go to the bathroom, and then having to re-robe or redress to continue an embalming process or something. And I know, especially for us death care professionals, like she said, when we're trying to find a cemetery, we're standing services at the cemetery, or maybe even just standing services in the funeral home, a lot of times we don't like to leave the families that we're working with or use nasty restrooms that just don't smell good or don't look good, especially if you're a lady. However, when you drink a lot of water, you're going to have to go to the bathroom a lot. So making sure that you not only drink enough water but map out your bathroom tips is a huge part of staying hydrated. Don't limit your hydration to only drinking water. Our bodies have the amazing functionality of being able to withdraw moisture and withdraw hydration from whatever we put into it. So that means if you're eating things like fruits and vegetables and solid foods that have high water content, your body is able to take that water that's in that fruit and absorb it as moisture. So for lunch or something like that, consider having like fruit or a salad as opposed to like maybe something like a burger, and that will also keep you extremely hydrated during these hot summer months. Another thing that I try to do is also keep my families hydrated. When people come into the funeral home or when we're going to the cemetery, I always, especially during the summer months, try to keep a cooler of cold water, meaning that it has ice on it or it's been in the refrigerator and it's in a container that will retain the coolness. I try to keep that on hand because a lot of times people will come to the funeral home, they haven't been eating, they haven't been taking care of themselves. Even in hospitals, when people are sick and they're coming to visit their family members that are in the hospital, they haven't been taking care of themselves. So I try to keep water and Gatorade and things like that, Pedialyte on hand, so that in case someone becomes dehydrated or I think someone becomes dehydrated, I'm able to give them something to drink or give them some fresh fruit or just something to keep them hydrated so that they don't become ill. Our second tip is to vamp up the personal hygiene. Again, if you're hydrating yourself and if you're in extreme temperatures, you're in the sun, you're moving around a lot, it's going to be natural for our bodies to do what they do to try to cool off, which is to sweat. And unfortunately, that sweat in a lot of cases, or just that movement and friction, especially with the heat, can cause some unkind odors. So you're going to want to make sure that you're wearing deodorant, that you're brushing your teeth, that you keep mints in your pocket, because a lot of times one of the first things that happen when we're dehydrated is that our mouth starts to get dry, and that can lead to bad breath. So make sure that you're hydrating yourself and that you're vamping up on that personal hygiene so that your body odors aren't offensive to those that you're coming in contact with. I've been in situations where I've had to work services, graveside services in the cemetery, and I've sweat like just outside for hours and just come back in feeling sticky and sweaty and musty, and you can't always go home and take a shower, so keeping things like wipes or maybe even a washcloth or a change of shirt or a change of jacket in your possession with you are good ideas. I did a video a few years ago for funeral divas, which I'll post in the description box below, that talks about the 5 things that I feel like every female funeral director should have as far as personal hygiene, things that we should keep on our person. And there were also some amazing comments in that video that I think anyone could benefit from, not just ladies. Our third tip is to not take it personal. The heat aggravates people. I know when I get hot, I get irritable, more irritable than in most situations. And we have to keep into consideration, whether you're a death care worker or not, that people respond differently to different environments and to different situations. The heat is something that tends to make people more irritable, tends to make them be a little more temperamental, a little less kind, because they're just hot and annoyed. So if someone comes into your presence, whether it's in the funeral home, whether you work in a nursing home, the healthcare field, whether you're an attorney or an accountant, and someone just seems to have a nasty attitude with you, our first inclination and the first thing that our ego wants to do is respond in kind. However, I think that it is extremely important, especially during these hot summer months, to give people a little bit more grace, especially in the death care industry, because we know people are grieving. They've probably had to travel to attend the services. They may be not accustomed to our weather, so just give people a little bit more grace, especially during these summer months. The fourth tip is to take it off, and by that I mean literally dress light. Take off those heavy jackets. Find some thinner material, maybe for ladies. If you're not in front of a family, wear something with a sleeveless top or a short sleeve top instead of the long button down that we're accustomed to. Traditionally in funeral service, we're expected to wear suits, we're expected to look a certain way and to present a certain professional image, especially when we're working with families. However, you are a human being. You are going to get hot. I have been at funerals and at graveside services where funeral directors and cemetery patrons have literally passed out because they've become overheated. I know that's something that I struggle with. Fortunately, I've never passed out in public. However, I do become extremely exhausted. I suffer from heat exhaustion. Like when I get too hot, it just drains all my energy and I feel like I can fall where I stand. So don't put yourself in a situation that's not safe by trying to keep up a professional image. There are ways to dress. There are ways to work around our uniform, so to speak, that will allow you to breathe and to just not be cool, but to have a sense of coolness during the summertime. I wish I would have bought it out, keep a portable fan with me. So if I'm in the cemetery or if I'm in an environment where the air conditioner isn't working, whether it be a church or a funeral home, I have that fan with me and it stands up by itself. You can hold it in your hand, and I have no problem pulling that thing out and fanning myself. And I've even had families ask if they could borrow it or where they could find one. So please, please, please take it off. If you're getting hot, there's nothing wrong with taking off your jacket. Again, you want to be mindful of that hygiene, because a lot of times, especially as ladies, larger ladies especially, and I'm sure with gentlemen, we begin to sweat under our breasts and under our arms. So you want to make sure that you're not displaying sweat stains, but then again, it's also natural. Remember that you are a human being and your body has natural functions that are going to happen. So Try to stay ahead of that, but don't put yourself in a position to be so uncomfortable that you become exhausted or ill because you're trying to keep up a professional image. The last tip is to take a break. It's the summertime. This is the time for family, for love, and for fun. Yes, we all have a professional role to play. However, it is vital for our mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual health that we take time off and simply enjoy life. Book that weekend at the beach. Book that vacation out of the country. Take time off to just enjoy the day and enjoy the weather. You are not a workhorse or a slave. It is not your job to kill yourself trying to take care of others, regardless of what industry that you work in. Um, Take time off and enjoy your life. It is vitally important, especially for our mental health. If you've enjoyed this video, please share with me your summertime tips for funeral professionals or any professional in the comment section below. Also, feel free to check out my self-care for death care professionals. It is available on my website. The link will be listed in the description below. It is a great resource if you're looking for ways to take care of yourself on a daily basis. Even if you're not a death care professional, so many people in our world, because of the pandemic, have had to take on roles of either caregiving, caregivers of those that are transitioning, caregivers of those that have had to deal with death on a daily basis, caregivers of those that were actually dying. So I think it's a great and amazing resource for healthcare professionals, forensic teams, medical examination teams, first responders, law enforcement, correctional, people that work in correctional facilities. It's an amazing resource. Take the time and check it out. Live life, love hard, and I'll talk to you guys next time.